Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avron Lefebvre, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the all-new K2 Almanac. This board features K2's directional combination camber, which is a longer rocker in the nose, camber through the midsection, and then a shorter rocker in the tail. That camber section is going to give you all the load, pop, snap, and drive, while that rocker section is going to give you ease of entry in and out of turns, as well as more optimal powder float. This board's available in 137, 141, 145, 149, 153, 157, and 161. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was overcast skies, snow falling at times, colder temps, a little bit of wind, heavy wind-loaded POW, chopped chunder, powdery corduroy, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. Flex and stability. So the overall flex of this board comes in right around a middle of the road, and it feels like a board that you've ridden forever, even if you don't ride it daily. Like, you can hop on it and you know how it's going to react. There is a longitudinal response to this through the center of the board from that carbon backbone. You will feel that. And while you do have that rocker in the nose and the tail, that is where it's going to flex a little bit more. So just expect it. You know, it's not a big deal. And that adds into the stability. You might get a little flap that's going to resonate back under the front foot, but that midsection coupled with the width of this board and the core construction do a good job of dissipating that kinetic energy so that you don't feel those vibrations. I'm not saying it's the dampest thing out there, I'm just saying it does a good job. And when you get into really rutted out terrain, this board has just enough flex that it actually bends with the contours instead of getting bucked or skipping across the top of them. To load this board up to get it to ollie, it's very easy to engage. You roll back on the tail, and right where that rocker meets the camber, it acts like a spring. You're going to be able to pop with this thing, no problem. Launch that side hit, ollie off that roller, and porpoise in that fresh snow. You don't have to worry about it. This board will get you up in the air. When it comes to jumps, small to medium-ish is about where you want it to be. You've got that stability of the width underfoot, and you've got that response from the snap of the board in this. But I think that just with the shaping and stuff, medium-ish is about where you're pushing it. So I'd say like that 20, 25, maybe 30 foot range. Otherwise, it turns the lip into a small jump into a launch ramp. You can have fun with it. You can do the work and pop off of it, or you can just load it up and then let the lip spring you as well. Hey you, are you new here? Okay, why don't you click like? Okay, now after you do that, why don't you subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. You know you don't want to miss any of this content. So with that carbon backbone and the ollie bar in this, there's a little bit of fight to this board. So even though it's got that sweet spot from the rocker in the nose and the tail, you do have to put a little more effort. You really got to kind of sit out over it to get it to engage, and it locks in and it will hold until you want it to disengage, and then it pops you right back out. You'll notice that with the nose and the tail. It's easy to get into the press, but to hold it, there is a little bit of fight, and then that fight adds to the spring getting out of it. POW butters, really good in this. Groomer butters, you got to kind of work for it. And that kind of translates over into how this jibs. If you press hard, you're going to be able to hold that nose or tail press going through the feature until you hit the end and it's going to spring. If you don't press hard, it's going to be really soggy and it's just basically going to set down. When you go sideways, there's more than enough give between the feet to really let it cradle the feature, but it does not clap out in any way, shape, or form, and it is not doing a balance board act. It's just kind of gently caressing it how you'd want it to, and it holds. There is a fluid edge-to-edge power transmission with this board. You notice that when you want to be up on your toes, you're on your toes. When you want to be on your heels, you're on your heels. It's nimble. The torsional flex really works so that you can do that, and it allows you to steer this board more underfoot. And with that carbon backbone and the response of this board, you get snap out of short, tight, quick carves and medium, mellow carves. It's zippy. It really comes alive at speeds. You're gonna notice that. And then when you do lay over a deep, hard carve, it's a breeze. It holds, it locks in, you can lay it over, not worry about it, and get that spring from driving your knee into the center of the board and pushing back off the tail. It's gonna let you snap out. So if you're looking to do party carves and then deep aggressive carves, it's got you covered. Overall, this board feels great on edge. Rider in mind, the Volume Shift Do Everything enthusiast, someone that is party boarding and wants one deck for smash and pow or smash and rails and jumps in the park. If you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. So in my opinion, this board is kind of a cross of the first generation party platter with the excavator. So it's good in POW, it's good at carving, and it's got a freestyle focus to it. Now with that said, if you look at the actual insert packs, the recommended stance is freestyle, but if you kick it back one, then it goes into free ride. With that said, I don't think this board's gonna be for everyone. I think the people that liked that first generation party platter or they find the excavator too stiff are absolutely gonna love this. But for someone that wants to charge a little bit more, they might not. Now, one thing that I want you to know is they say you can downsize between 3 and 5 centimeters on this. I was on the 153. I honestly wish I was on the 157. I think 3 centimeters is about what you ideally want to downsize. With this, I think 5 centimeters is very, very drastic. Unless you're a lightweight rider or a female, doesn't make sense to me. But 3 centimeters would. So a 157 would have ridden like a 160. That would have felt more ideal to me. The 153 should have ridden like the 157, and it kind of did, 57, 58-ish, but riding it in POW, I kind of wish I'd had a little bit more to it. Overall, this board is a blast, and I like the fact that it's replacing the party platter. I think this is the right direction for it. It carves well. The snap is very consistent. You know what you're gonna get with this board. It's very solid. Comparable boards: the Arbor Carter, the Telos Backslash, the Libtech Golden Orca. Binding recommendations: the K2 Edition, the Union Force, the Rome DOD. This has been my review of the K2 Almanac. If you like this, but you're thinking about one of the comparable boards, why don't you go check out one of the reviews of those decks? You know we have a video for you.